Thank you all for coming. This is the 2026 LinkedIn training for academics by myself, Shante Booker, and my colleague, Corley Carlson. Um, let's see. So this is a brief little rundown of the agenda today. Oh, I didn't check. Can everyone hear me just fine?
I
Okay,
think so.
good. Okay, cool. So the agenda, we're going to do our brief introductions. We'll also go through a brief history of LinkedIn, tips on getting started on LinkedIn, a few tips on what you should post on your LinkedIn account or profiles, tips for starting engaging, tips for finding a community. Then we'll go over some security tips, measures, and then we'll end off with like a Q&A for you guys to access whatever you have, whatever your burning questions are. Okay, so what is LinkedIn and how should you use it? All right, so LinkedIn, as you all may know, is a professional social networking site. I believe it is the largest professional social networking site, and the key word is professional. That's what makes it stand out from, the not Twitter's, Blue Skies and Instagrams and every other platform. So LinkedIn is primarily known, or initially primarily known, for its interactive resume. I like to think of it as an interactive resume, but I guess it's also uh, referred to as a digital resume. So it's a digital resume. It also has like a job search component, and then it's a professional networking site. So it's basically a place where you house your resume, but you make it just more interactive, I guess. You make it more interactive. You go a little more in depth because resumes tend to be bullet points, and they also tend to be one page. So now we're gonna jump right into history. So LinkedIn was founded in 2002 by Reid Hoffman in his living room, apparently. And then later on, he recruited four others or enlisted four other founders to help him like bring his vision to life. And they launched in '03. And then in 2016, LinkedIn was acquired by Microsoft. From the date that we put this presentation together, LinkedIn has over 1 billion members in more than 200 countries and territories worldwide. And then the unique thing for this portion is that LinkedIn's behavior or users' behavior on LinkedIn has changed since 2020 to 2021, presumably due to COVID-19 and lack of human interactions. Like people wanted to be in the office more. They missed their colleagues. They missed their families. And that's why before 2020, LinkedIn was strictly a place to talk about your accomplishments. I'm so excited to announce that I've just gotten a new job at XYZ. And while there are still posts like that, they are a little more personal. Like a lot of people have noticed that LinkedIn is used kind of like the way that people used Facebook in the beginning, whereas Facebook was super filled with personal stories. It still does have some personal stories, but personal stories are very new for LinkedIn since like it was just strictly a professional platform where you didn't want people to know about your personal life, kind of like at work at in a sense, like you want your colleagues to know you, but you definitely choose the parts of you that your colleagues know. So LinkedIn has definitely gotten a little more vulnerable. So getting started, you want to download the app in your app store, Google, I forgot what Google's app store is called, but Google, Apple, wherever, download the app, or you can create an account on LinkedIn.com. First thing you're going to be prompted to do is to fill out your introduction section. So that section, you can add your first and last name. You should add your first and last name if you are uncomfortable with everyone, with the public seeing your first and last name, seeing your full name. You can make adjustments in the privacy setting, and those adjustments will allow you to just show, the initial of your last name, or it'll allow you to determine who can change who can view your name. But we'll go over more security stuff later on. So after you add your name, You can also add a nickname if you prefer to go, through a nickname. Let's say my nickname is Tay and I prefer people call me Tay. I can add nickname in the additional names section. You can also add a pronunciation section. Now, for this section, I can't remember if you are able to record how to say your name or if you just spell it out phonetically. Like I know I've seen names spelled out phonetically on LinkedIn, but I can't recall if there's like an option to like say the name and like have a recording of that. But you can, make sure that people can pronounce your names properly. And then you can also add your preferred pronouns. So that is another way to like personalize your account and just kind of make sure you're putting your best foot forward. Next, we have your headline section. So the headline section is what comes right below your name on your LinkedIn profile. And the maximum character count as of right now is 220 characters. And you really want to think about this section as your elevator pitch. So you want to make sure you communicate your expertise and basically your value clearly. So a formula that you could follow is your role, your niche, and then something unique that emphasizes your value, your expertise. So like that, something unique could be like a rare software that you know that you've mastered, or just, you have some skill in, or some other type of skill. And then also you can possibly add like a project or like a discovery that is exciting, um, relating to your work. So, an example could be distinguished professor of physics, wave manipulation as their niche, and then like discovered in real life invisibility cloak or something like that. Like that's something that's definitely relevant to their research and is exciting and just kind of might make people stop and wonder, oh, what is this invisibility cloak thing? Like what is this skill, or, you know, what is this thing? Next, you want to make sure to add a headshot. Now, it is preferred that you add a headshot. I'm not sure like what you really don't have enough space to add anything else. I don't know if Corley, you want to jump in here and let me know, but I wouldn't advise like adding anything besides a headshot. I'm not sure. I guess an alternative for those of you who are a little shy and don't want to have a headshot on there, you could have something that's maybe emblematic of your research, or not re or if you're not a scientist, emblematic of your just your work, basically.
Yeah, I agree with you, Shantae. I think it's it's the norm to have a headshot. And I mean at the hopefully you have like a professional headshot. It can even just be a nice selfie that you like. If there
Mhm.
are reasons why you really don't feel comfortable with your face published online, then you could always just take a picture of something else like a microscope or a pen or a company logo or something like that. But if at all possible, I would encourage you to use a headshot.
Mhm. Oh my gosh, I just realized that I completely just jumped in and forgot to do like intros.
Oh,
So I'm just going to take a brief moment to say I am Shante Booker. I am the communication specialist at the ASRC, the Advanced Science Research Center at the Kinney Graduate Center. So I handle the ASRC's digital presence, their social media, and their website. So sorry, Carly. Do you want to like jump in at this moment right now, or do you want to jump in when your slides come up?
sure. I'm Coralie Carlson. I'm the social media coordinator for the Graduate Center. So I run all of the school's main social media accounts and also put together that newsletter that you get every 2 weeks, among other things. So, hi, nice to meet you today. Thanks for showing up.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Okay, so yes, you want to put in your headshot and then you should put a background image as well. You don't have to, but you could. It's just another opportunity to personalize your account, show off your personality a bit, and maybe even just show off your work. Like maybe, we're all multifaceted beings. So maybe you're a photographer and you have a really cool image that kind of connects to your work and you want to, show that off. Like this is just another area for you to do something unique and special. Mm. Next would be below that is the summary section. So you have a summary section and then your like experience section. So your summary is really where you wanna communicate three things. Like you want to communicate like what are three things that you want viewers to know about you and your expertise, and you really don't want to be afraid to show your personality here. So it's basically your a little bit of an expansion on your elevator pitch. You want to excuse me, you want to it's like a more expanded version. I'm sorry, not an expanded version, but like it's kind of, hold on, sorry, let me review my notes really quickly. Yeah, basically the summary section is your place to shine and kind of brag about yourself. Whereas the experience section is sort of like where you want to pull little anecdotes about your resume, about your experience. So like initially the experience section, you'll see that people will just kind of like replicate their resume, whereas you don't really want to do that, especially not nowadays, since LinkedIn is more of a, I would say, story-based type of platform. Like it really runs on stories. So try pulling out little anecdotes of your experiences. So if the experience section is where you're pulling out anecdotes, the summary section is where you are kind of introducing people to those anecdotes possibly and like giving people a quick little rundown of like who you are and your experience, and then you're jumping into the experience section and giving like stories of those experience. So the summary section would be I've done XYZ, and then the experience section could be you pulling out, well, here's how I came to do that thing. Maybe pulling out like a project that came out of that experience, and just really like having fun with it and just bragging on yourself in those spaces. Sorry, I'm trying to, is that the next one? Okay, so let's start engaging. Okay, so LinkedIn has like four main sort of like features. So we have the posts, we have the groups, we have articles, and then we have like the job search portion of it. So the posts are where you like other platforms, you share quick but deliberate thoughts on timely issues. And I would say the thing that makes LinkedIn stand out from the way that people post on LinkedIn, like in the post section compared to the others, is the deliberate. The deliberate is the key word there, because the thing about LinkedIn is a platform that really values and rewards users for quality over quantity. So like LinkedIn would prefer you post like two quality posts per week than 10 posts per week. It's not gonna, LinkedIn's algorithm actually picks up on like spam type of things. Like if you are posting too much, or if you are posting, how do I explain this? Posting too little about like a specific topic and it just kind of seems like throwaway posts, LinkedIn won't really reward you by sharing your posts. But if you have more in-depth posts, then LinkedIn will reward in-depth posts, and then, posts with like the keywords related to your field or topic of discussion. So, um, kind of hit on this, but it used to be, well, actually I didn't hit on this. It's now acceptable on LinkedIn to post multiple times throughout the day, but that doesn't necessarily mean like 10 times. Like I would say maybe like 3 times a day, but different type of posts. So like maybe one could be like an original post, another post is like a straight up repost of something that you are interested in, or something that you think your followers would be interested in. And then the third post could be like a repost, but you writing your thoughts on it, creating some sort of like dialogue about it. And then another thing to note is that the maximum character for the LinkedIn posts are about like 3,000. And I think that's maybe like 400 or 500 words or something like that. So you have a good amount of space to get it out. Key thing, you just want to remember quick, deliberate posts on like timely issues. The timely issues part is what's really going to help boost your account. Excuse me. So we also have groups. Groups allow you to have targeted group discussions, helps you locate opportunities in your field, ask questions. It gives you like more direct access to people that aren't maybe normally within your reach, basically. So you can ask them questions about a field that you're interested in, maybe. And then also it's a way to, connect with potential collaborators. So like I'm just kind of thinking like, let's say you have an idea for some sort of like research project, but you could really benefit from someone who knows a specific aspect of it that you don't, and maybe you're looking to find those people, looking to connect with that person. So you can definitely join a group with that, or you can also make your own group if you have, or groups if you have just like specific topics or topic in mind that you really want to uh, convene people and discuss. And then we also have articles. So like if the posts are where you share quick and deliberate and timely posts, the articles are where you would share more long form thoughts on like timely issues or just like issue or specific topics that are of interest to you. So you can just go way more in depth with these. You can also collaborate on articles with other people, so that could be extremely exciting and beneficial. Um, That'll help you get more eyes on your profile as well as like boost your work up. Let's say you're a researcher and you're talking about, a specific aspect of your research that helps get you out there more. Um, and then also helps to build you as a thought leader. Because if you think about it, and if you kind of think about social media as a game in a sense, the goal of LinkedIn is to kind of be like a thought leader, like to be the thought leader. Like you want people to view you, or at least a part of it, is you want people to view you as a thought leader in your area or someone who is trustworthy, someone who is knowledgeable of what your area of expertise in. So that can help. And then also job search. Now, the job search section is a little controversial. I don't know if you all have like have heard this, but a lot of times people will say, I don't actually get any jobs on LinkedIn. Like what? I'm not having success with LinkedIn. Like I think LinkedIn is a great place to locate job opportunities, but I will say when you find them on LinkedIn, go find them on the actual site of the company and apply through there. I've heard that people have more success over there, and I would think that people would have more success over there because if you think about it, companies they tend to prioritize things that are done on their own platforms, like even social medias. If you think about it, so like when you post something on like a platform, they might make like you post like a link to something, they might make the image smaller because it's going off to someone else's platform, but they might keep their platform images larger or something like that. So you have to kind of think of like how different sites reward people in that way. So I think the job search, you should definitely try locate them on LinkedIn because they do have some really exciting opportunities. But search for them, take the extra step to search for them on the company's website and apply through there. I think you'll have better luck. Um, then I'll hand it off to Coralie right now.
Hey, thank you so much.
No problem.
So, one of the main questions that I get from people who want to be more active on social media on any platform, but are not yet, is like, what am I supposed to post? Like, what sort of things should I actually be putting out there? And for LinkedIn, I think it's a very natural fit for academics. Um, because it is a natural place where it's acceptable to post about all of your achievements. So you publish an article, you just won this award, you just secured this grant. Maybe you just like got involved with a new working group, like any of these achievements. Like if you were on Instagram and all you did was post about your achievements, like that would not be appropriate for that platform. But it actually is appropriate for LinkedIn, and people are pretty positive about it. It's a place where people are going to talk about their careers, to talk about their achievements, and to cheer each other on. So that makes it kind of an easier lift for us to use it as a workplace networking tool. You don't have to try so hard to kind of like shoehorn things in that you want. You can just say all these things. It's not considered a humble brag. Um, just the same way you can write about your post about your own achievements. It's really great to post about other people's achievements. So maybe you have a student who just, just defended their dissertation. Well, you can write something, a post on LinkedIn saying, I'm so proud of my student, so and so, who just did a phenomenal job. Congratulations, Dr. So and so, right? That's extremely appropriate and very shareable. You'll find lots of people will like that and share it and join in and with congratulating them. Um, and it also allows you to share other people's posts because if your colleague just shared that they got this grant, you can repost their post with your own comment that says, so happy for my colleague who really deserves this funding opportunity, whatever. Now you've got a post too, and everybody is, again, it's very shareable, likable content. It really the tone of LinkedIn is pretty positive. So it's really like a good place to just share these sorts of things because it is like initially like a place where people were going to look for jobs. And as Shante explained, it's more than that now, but it's still a very appropriate place to share job opportunities. So if there is an opening in your department or if there's, a place that that's hiring, it's a good place to share that. Maybe you can share the company's post or the school's post or say like, look, we're looking for people to apply for this scholarship. It's really like I see more of this on LinkedIn than any other social platform. And it's really something that people are expecting to find there. So again, people go there for it. Um, it's good to share news that's related to your field, and you can add your own insights in your post. So maybe you are, a scientist and the Nobel Prizes were just awarded. And so you share an article about the winners in chemistry, and you can share your own insights about why this discovery was, so important and how it affects your own work, so that would be very appropriate. And it brings something more to people than just reading the article. So it's not like you're summarizing the article, you're adding your own insights to it. Um, and that's how, as Shante was saying, you can keep things timely that way. And then another thing I see a lot on LinkedIn that also does very well is sharing career advice. Again, people are going on this platform for professional purposes, and advice is very shareable. So if you have like some sort of takeaway, maybe you were struggling with something and you finally were able to succeed, and you can share your experience and some overarching advice that would apply to other fields. That is something that's also very shareable and people like reading, and is very appropriate for LinkedIn more so than, say, Facebook or TikTok, even. So, the one thing that I would make a point to consider when you're sharing on LinkedIn is that the algorithm has a much slower and longer time frame for sharing content. So if you're using Twitter or Blue Sky, it's very like of the moment. You might post like 10 times um, in a row about just like things that are happening that day. But on LinkedIn, I'll log on to LinkedIn and see a post from like a friend of mine that she may have posted 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they're just showing it to me now, even though I log on to LinkedIn basically every day. So it's better to post things that kind of can be evergreen. Um, like that example of the Nobel Prize award, that would still be interesting to someone weeks later. Whereas, something that is just like I'm talking at this workshop today at 12:30. Please log on and join me is not going to be relevant anymore when somebody sees that post 2 weeks later, right? So just make sure that you kind of focus on things that will still be relevant and still interesting when people see them like 2 or 3 weeks down the road.
Mhm.
Shante?
And then going back to Corley's point about the job opportunities and also the brief mention of it that I made, well, I would say like agreeing with Corley, while the job board, like I was saying, might not be the best to post your opportunities there. I think it is a great idea to post to share them in post, like Corley had mentioned, because those are pretty successful.
Mhm.
Let me just move. Okay.
So, when you're posting, it's always best on any social network, including LinkedIn, to write in a conversational tone. So in academia, we're often trained to write in a very formal tone with a very high level specific vocabulary that people outside of even just that subsection of our field might not understand. But when you're taking that, say, paper that you published and you're sharing it on LinkedIn, write a post that could be understood by someone outside of your field and focuses more on the significance instead of the very technical details. Um, Again, I always like to think like I want to write something that my parents could understand because my parents are intelligent people, but they don't have like training in my field. So could like an intelligent person understand this if they were not trained in like the very specific thing that I'm talking about? It's always good to be as concise as possible, even though you do have like 3,000 characters to work with. Um, because they will truncate your posts. So it will like just post the first 3 lines and then say more. So if you haven't like gotten to your point or made someone interested in those first 3 lines, then they're just going to keep scrolling. Um, it is good to share links, like links to articles, links to your published work, links to job listings, whatever it is. But again, that will get truncated. So just be aware of that. Um, it's always great to include photos or videos or any like illustrations or images if you have them. It is true on every social platform that if you include these, they will catch people's eyes more and it will get more attention. It's harder to scroll past them than just a text-based post. Um, and my number one tip for every social network, and this is very true on LinkedIn as well, is to tag relevant accounts. So that means if I am sharing the post about congratulating my doctoral student for defending her dissertation, I'm going to tag her LinkedIn account. So I don't just say her name, but I actually tag it by using the @ sign and then typing her name. And that way she will get a notification and it will, she will see my post. She might not otherwise. And then she's much more likely to share it because she's directly involved. She's the subject of the post. And that's where I mean relevant. I don't just tag everyone that I want to see the post, only if they're actually relevant to the content of the post. But that really does help them see it, and then they're likely to share it, and their networks are more likely to be interested than just some random person. So you can really increase your engagement that way. And then finally, talking about training topics is very helpful, just like the example we talked about with the news article. Okay, so when you get started, you have to kind of build a community, right? If you just on any social network, if you just create your account and you don't connect with people, you're not doing it right. The whole point is it's social media, you're supposed to connect with people. I think it's smartest to start with your in real life connections, your in real life community. So that would be the people that you work with, your former colleagues, people that you went to school with. Um, the people who form your real community, see if they're on LinkedIn. They're very likely to accept your invitation to connect. Your classmates, or your students are very likely to want to connect with you. I would let them reach out to me more than the other way around. But I always accept those requests when my students want to connect with me. Um, and it's also a great way to keep in touch with people that you want to be networking with. So if you go to a conference or an event and you're talking to someone, instead of just exchanging business cards, you can, after the event, like connect with them on LinkedIn. And that way you guys have a kind of a way to message each other and just stay in touch. Then there are groups, which Shante mentioned earlier. In this first screenshot on the top, you can see I just typed in nanoscience groups and so many groups popped up. This is just the first five or four. Um, and you can look at those and see, I would always want to join a group that's active. So I would, look at it and see if people are actively posting. And if they are, then I would ask to join them. And that way I'll be in touch with other people who are in my field, who are talking about issues that I'm interested in. And that's a way that you can reach people who are outside of your in real life community. Um, and finally, you can follow the organizations that you are already connected with. So I would encourage all of you to follow the Graduate Center if you're not already, follow the ASRC, follow your department because many departments do have LinkedIn accounts. I know psychology and all of the 10 subsections of psychology have individual LinkedIn accounts, and they're pretty active. Many of the other departments at the Graduate Center do too. It's a great way to stay in touch with like what's happening and what other people in the department are doing. And that gives you some content also to like share with your own comments. Not only are you keeping up with what's happening, but it gives you some fodder to work with. Thank you. Okay, and then just a few notes about security. Um, it's important always to use a strong password, and I highly recommend using a password manager if you don't already. I personally use 1Password. LastPass is another one that's recommended. Um, and turn on the two-factor authentication on both on LinkedIn and the email address that you use that's associated with your LinkedIn account. That way, if someone were to get access to your account, they can't just go to like your email address and, if they were able to hack into that, then, complete the two-factor authentication. Um, you will get some like kind of random requests to connect with people that you don't know. My suggestion is only to connect with people that you know, at least you know who they are if you don't know them personally, and that you trust them. I think that's a good way. Otherwise, there can be phishing scams and things like that. And if you do find any phishing scams or suspicious messages, you can report them both to the platform. And if there's something that rises to the level of online harassment or trolling, I would encourage you to let your manager know, let the Department of Communications and Marketing know. If there's something that truly seems unsafe, then you could even choose to let like the security department at the Graduate Center know and possibly report this to police. I will say that one reason why LinkedIn is more appealing for professional use is that there's less of the online trolling. And I think that is because it does not really allow for anonymous accounts. You have to put your name on the account, and it's the anonymity that allows trolls to thrive. However, there's no people can work around that. They could make a fake account with a name. So it's not that bad things don't happen. It's just that the trolling isn't quite as rampant as on other accounts. And I think Shante had mentioned this earlier, but you can also go through the security settings to choose like your privacy and what is visible to people, what is visible, like how people can find you. Can they find you by searching for your email address? Can they find you by searching for your name? Can people who are outside of your existing network search for you? Can people outside of your like geographic areas search for you? There's a lot of different options. So you can kind of go through all of those and you can choose how people are, what people are able to see your posts. Can only your connections see them, or can the public see them? So you can kind of choose your comfort level with that. Did you have anything to add on that, Shante?
Um, No, well, one thing to add is you can, if you really want to go in depth with your the way that your profile is viewed by others, you can edit it and view it how other people view it and kind of like shape it how you want it to be viewed. So if you just want people to see, your name, your headline, and maybe your summary, you can adjust it to show that way. If you don't want people to see things that you've liked without being connected with you, then you can, change that too, adjust that too. So you can
Mhm.
really just personalize it.
Yeah. Thank you. And that reminds me, actually, the one thing that I do on all of my social networks is I make it so that people cannot see who I'm connected with. That's a big one where people can, like anyone who's digitally savvy can then start harassing your connections if they want to. And on LinkedIn, I honestly just did it because I got annoyed with people kept asking me for introductions to people I didn't really know that well or didn't feel comfortable making introductions to. And so I just like cut off all access. So you will, if you looked at my LinkedIn account, you should not be able to see the people that I'm connected to. And I think that's a good security move too, just to protect everyone else that you're connected to.
Agreed.
Okay.
Now
Well,
for
thank you so
Q&A.
much. Let's see, I have answered a few questions. I see here that Virginia asked if there's a list of all the groups you can post to. I think the number of groups exceeds the usefulness of a list. I would just type in some keywords and look to see which ones have the most members and which ones are most active. Um, I really like sometimes people will start groups, and if they don't have a dedicated manager, they nobody's really posting to them and they're not very useful. So what I would be looking for is that people are posting to them regularly. Um, let's see. Can we share suggestions for follow-up messages for connecting with people on LinkedIn or meeting at an event? Um,
Hmm.
do you have any thoughts on that, Shante, or?
Not right now, but I think that is a good question and something that I feel like I would be more useful in that area if I like kind of wrote down some suggestions. I feel like I need some like written suggestions for that, but that is definitely something I can think about and try to put together.
Yeah, I mean, I usually say something like, I'd love to connect with you here, like it's pretty simple, but the truth is, like when I connect with someone, I don't always have like a pressing comment right then. I'm not asking them for anything right then. I just want to like open this line of communication. So I keep it pretty short. I might, if I don't think they remembered me, I would say like, oh, you just spoke to this group that I was in the audience. I asked the question about whatever. Really appreciated your talk, and I would love to connect with you here. Just say enough so that they remember who you are, if that's not like clear already. And then just a simple request. It's pretty like it's just the way people it's accepted that people will reach out after meeting once. So I think it's like a normal thing to do. And also, I just wouldn't take it personally at all if you don't get a response. That doesn't mean the person hates you. It may mean that they aren't really active on LinkedIn. It might mean that they don't check their messages very often. And it might mean that they just have a personal strategy of only connecting with people who they work with closely. That's perfectly fair, and people use the network in different ways. If they don't connect with you, you can usually follow them, which is, a little bit it's a little bit more of a one-way connection, but at least you'll still be able to see their posts. I know, like I have my security settings set pretty high, so sometimes people can't ask me to connect and they just follow me instead.
Yeah. And
Um,
sometimes I can't remember if Coralie had mentioned this, but sometimes the issue could be they only allow people who they are connected with to message them, or people who are connected to someone that they're connected to message them. So it could be that as well.
yeah.
Um,
Okay, Virginia had a follow-up question about how do you see how many people are in them? And let me see. Can I share? I'm going to share my screen if I
yeah.
can. Okay.
Are you allowed to? Okay.
Yeah, I think I am. Here we go. So I just typed this up in LinkedIn. So I just in the search bar in the top, I typed linguistics groups. And you can see here, I can choose between groups and other things. I want groups. And you can see applied linguistics has 43,000 members, right? Um, computational linguistics has 15,000 members. I think they're kind of sorting them by like the biggest ones, which can be useful for us. But if you know that like there is a specific like group that's smaller but is active that you want to be part of, that's great too. It's just if I were like just kind of going blind, I would want to start with one that's more robust. And you can kind of say like if I say to join, I'm probably well, I just requested to join them. They're probably not going to let me in because it's going to be obvious from my profile that I am not a linguistic. I'm not very linguistic, obviously. But that's how you can see. Do I have tips on setting up a LinkedIn page for an academic department? I very much do. So this is one of the things that I help people with as the social media coordinator. Um, why don't you reach out to me separately after the workshop? We can provide the cover photo and the profile pic for your department. We have a template that we do for that, use for that, and I can provide you with some other tips. Um, this particular workshop is talking more about how to use it as an individual, but I can help you using it as from a department. Um, yes, we can definitely meet one-on-one to talk about how to talk about your improve your program specific page. Um, what if you have something about gender that you want to communicate? I'm not sure if I understand that question. Is that like for your specific profile or is that like the topic of a post? I think you are allowed to put your, there's a section to put your pronouns on your personal profile. Um, but I'm not sure exactly what you're asking there. Oh, you want to, okay, so you want to talk to people who work in the field of gender. That's excellent. So I would do two things. One is I would see if there's a group, I'm sure there are like groups that are academic groups that talk about gender if you're looking for an academic group. Um, and then also I might um, talk to like tag a colleague that is specifically working on this, or even if you don't tag them, I might like ask them to share it too. That way you're kind of like talking to like if you have two or three or four people who work in this field that are sharing it, it's more likely to reach the people that you're wanting. Um,
I would also tag like relevant pages that you know of that people in that field interact with. That could help as well. That could like get your post boosted onto their uh in their feeds.
Mhm. Do you, Shante, do you use hashtags much on LinkedIn?
Uh, sometimes I do use them with like, but like really, I haven't been using them too much lately because I just find that they don't, I feel like they aren't helping as much. but they could be doing something. It's honestly, it's just if there's like something really niche going on or something really timely going on, then I'll like add the hashtags with the hopes that people will engage. But I feel like hashtags are really still in use on like Instagram
Mhm.
rather than like LinkedIn or really anywhere else. But
Yeah.
what's your experience?
I agree with you. I actually largely have stopped using hashtags on LinkedIn. It just didn't seem to make any difference. And just like I search for groups, I could have just hit that other tab and searched for posts. It would have been searching for the words whether I had put a hashtag there or not. So I think using the relevant keywords in your post is important. So if you wanted to have a post about gender and have it findable, like make sure you use the word gender in it. But otherwise, I still think that they're going to, if you're searching, they're going to be sorting it by the most popular posts. So
Hmm.
if I don't have one of the most popular posts, it's not going to be surfaced anyway. So it's better just to make something compelling that people are just interested in instead of like they're using a specific hashtag isn't going to help you if people aren't interested in it anyway. Yeah.
Hmm. I can't remember if we went over this question, but I see Natasha is asking if we have any advice in the chat, any advice for people running account pages, especially if you don't have an individual account.
Um,
Go ahead.
oh, no. Well, yeah, I mean, you can definitely talk to me afterwards because I can help you with your images. I can help like the profile pic and the cover photo, and I can give you some general advice on that too. I mean, you do have to have a personal account anyway, but I understand like you might not be as concerned about that. You want to have an effective department account. A lot of the advice is the same. Like I think tagging the relevant people to your posts is really important. Using images and videos to illustrate your posts whenever possible, making posts that are timely, um, and written in a conversational tone that people outside of your field can understand too will certainly make them appealing to more people, and readable and shareable. So a lot of that advice is actually the same. And then just being um, consistent in your posting. And that may mean like setting up a little calendar or a spreadsheet so you are sure that you're posting like once or twice a week at least. Building any social media account is a long process. And it helps to be consistent and do your best practices every single time. And then every once in a while, one of your posts will take off and you'll see like a big increase in your followers as well. And then it kind of goes back to normal and you're just kind of like going at it steady.
And I'll also say another tip is to make sure that your posts aren't like redundant or kind of like clashing with an account that they may also be following. So like for example, you let's say you have your page, your like department page, I'm assuming, and then the GC's page. Like you don't want to just kind of like take what's on the GC and post it over there. Like sometimes you might want to do that because you want to make sure, hey, have you guys seen that? But like you don't want to kind of like replicate content too much because then it'll be redundant. And then people will feel like, well, why am I following this page when I can just get the same information over here? So you really want to make sure your information that you're posting over there is relevant. You are consistent, like Curly just stated, and you're just kind of like you're doing a service to your viewers, basically. Like you want to keep in mind, like what are they getting out of this? Like what are you conveying to them, and what do you want them to leave with?
And I just want to share one thing. This is my social media request form. So if you don't have a department LinkedIn account and you want me, the Graduate Center, you want the Graduate Center page to share something, you can fill out that form and I will just post it to the school account. Likewise, if you have posted something to your department's account and you want the school account to share it, you can just fill out this form and I'll get a notification and I'll do it for you. So um, there's kind of too many, I get too many notifications on the school page to catch everything that comes through just by tagging me. But if you fill out that form, I'm super happy to amplify your posts and that will get them to seen by a lot more people and hopefully a lot more relevant people who will be interested in it.
Mhm. And then I also have a form. I don't know if we have any ASRC people here, but also if you're not um like affiliated with the ASRC, I also have a form if you have some like science related things. Like I don't know if you're looking for new lab members or anything like that, and you want to like boost that out to our people at the ASRC. Also have a form as well.
And I'll follow up after this webinar with I'm going to see if I can get a list of everyone who registered, and we will give you the slides, and I'll include these links. Shanta, do you have a link to the slides you can maybe just put in the chat too?
Yeah, let me pull it up. Second.
Just because we did this as a webinar, I'm not like, it's the school's account. I'm not in charge of it, and I'm going to have to ask someone for the list of attendees. So,
Yeah, no problem.
and we'll
So
also
to go.
put this up on YouTube like by later today, really. So, if your colleagues or someone was not able to attend, you can come back and see this.
Okay.
Okay.
One second, I'm just pulling the link. I have to go through OneDrive. I feel like OneDrive is so annoying sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's hard to get the right share link. I'm just going to also put my email here. So anybody who wanted to follow up separately, that's my email. Feel free to reach out. We can set up a meeting or a talk or a Zoom call, or I can just email you a bunch of resources, whatever is useful to you. Okay.
Okay. All right. Here is the link.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming today. If you have any more questions, please follow up with us by email, and we're happy to help. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you got some useful information out of it.
All right.
Bye.